Tell me how, I got nothing to say. Tell me why my tombstone is blank. 'Cause I'm not the one who won't try. I'm not letting life pass me by. And tell me when the days are less gray. And tell me where is the road to less pain. How many days before I decay? It's getting so hard to get by. Where are all my trophies in life? And he hated the way he was dying, but the moment he turned on the light, he became what he dreamt of at night when he was young and hungry for life.
Set to sail to a place I can't say. Live a life worthy of chase. The time is today. New blood in my veins. I won't be the joker in life, playing the part I don't like. And he hated the way he was dying,
my goodness. What a weekend, huh? What a weekend. What a Monday Night Raw tonight from Madison Square Garden, man. WrestleMania is finally taking shape. We almost got a full card shot. We almost got a full card. We had yet another another pull-apart brawl. I guess somebody in creative is watching a little Fight Club. Or maybe they're watching some John Wick. I don't know. What's with the pull-apart brawls?
Oh, there's nothing more for them to say, JD.
Oba and Brock again. Third straight week. Best segment of the entire show. Stephanie McMahon is back. She confronted Cody Rhodes tonight. You know who else is back? Gunther's back. He's got a WrestleMania match. And boy, does it not make any fucking sense. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to the OTS venue. We're walking down to my mother's basement. There's no white stuff for SRS, but there is cold beverages. Ladies and gentlemen, on this Monday night, I want to know, what the fuck are you guys drinking? I'll see you over there. What is going on, guys? Thank you so very much for joining me right here on Off the Script. This is your Monday Night Raw Post Show for March 30th, 2026. I'm your host, JD, from New York, as always, coming to you live from the OTS venue inside my mother's basement. Thank you guys so very much for joining me on this Monday evening, wherever you may be. Monday Night Raw, Madison Square Garden, New York City. Felt like a big night. I don't know if it really was a big night for WWE. Felt like a big night. The end result didn't really feel all that big. But Monday Night Raw, tonight, at Madison Square Garden, 2 weeks left to go till WrestleMania. WWE is finally fleshing out the entirety of the WrestleMania 42 card for Las Vegas. And on paper, I would say that this year's show is better than last year's show. Now, is that going to give us a different result compared to last year when we watched the actual in-ring? That remains to be seen. We'll see what happens when we get to WrestleMania. But as far as the match card on paper, so far, it is looking like it is a far better show than it was last year. I don't even know where to start tonight. There was a lot that happened on tonight's show. I'm going to start with this because I know this is 3 weeks since he's been out. He finally returned tonight. Gunther. Gunther is back on WWE television. He looks great. I missed him. One of my favorites. Gunther returned to television. And he has a WrestleMania match lined up against Seth Rollins. Now, the report was, as of last week, Braun Breaker was reporting to the WWE Performance Center. This is courtesy of Mike Johnson of PW Insider. Braun Breaker was reporting to the WWE Performance Center to begin the beginning stages of actually getting cleared. The report today that went out was that Braun Breaker was in the building tonight, backstage at Madison Square Garden for Monday Night Raw. I'm assuming they went and did further analysis, further testing was done, and they deemed Braun Breaker not yet ready to return. Paul Heyman's in the ring, and Adam Pearce all show has been telling him, look at his email, look at his email. Paul Heyman doesn't meddle with email. He says he's from New York. He's in the know. They get down and dirty. He's in the trenches. He doesn't operate via email. Adam Pearce eventually told Paul Heyman that the email he did not read stated that Seth Rollins is now released by the Boston Police Department. All charges were dropped. And that Seth Rollins is now 100% medically cleared to return to WWE as an active in-ring performer. Rollins came out. He took a steel chair to Paul Heyman's back, laid him out. He was about to deliver the stomp. And then out comes Gunther. Right before the stomp was delivered, Gunther dragged him out of the ring, choked him out in front of Michael Cole and Corey Graves, even bloodied him up a little bit, and smeared Rollins' blood on his forehead. Pointed at the WrestleMania sign. And before it was announced, 30 minutes later, we all were to assume that Rollins and Gunther was going to be the WrestleMania match for both guys. Now, I threw it out there as a softball last week on this very program, on this very stream, last Monday. I said it would be funny if Gunther and Rollins get placed in a WrestleMania match if Braun Breaker's not ready to come back yet. It would be funny if Gunther and Rollins got placed in a WrestleMania match because creative had nothing for either guy. It would be a match of two guys who have absolutely nothing to do going into WrestleMania because of circumstances beyond their control. Little did I know that softball would become a reality on tonight's Monday Night Raw. You know, there are so many lemmings. There are so many simple-minded, unintelligent cretins, unintelligent people arguing amongst every fucking tweet that I or someone else puts out that goes against what they think is right and what they want to see, and what they like. You can't say anything on social media nowadays. Nothing. Nothing. That tweet, that GIF, I like waffles better than pancakes. Someone's going to be arguing in the fucking comments that pancakes are better than waffles. It's a never-ending cycle. Braun Breaker is not going to be at WrestleMania in a wrestling role. Now, we don't know if Braun Breaker is going to be at WrestleMania or not, period. I hope that he is. Because there's only one way for this match to go, and it's Gunther winning over Seth Rollins. I don't give a fuck what you think. I don't give a shit what your creative is. I don't give a shit how much of a fantasy you're thinking of. Gunther does not lose. Simple as that. Moving on. Absolutely nobody, unless they're fucking stupid, absolutely nobody is complaining about the potential match quality of Gunther and Seth Rollins. Gunther is one of the best pro wrestlers in the world. And if you don't like Gunther's style, you got no taste. It's basically what it boils down to. Gunther is one of the best pro wrestlers in the entire world. Rollins has done some of the best work of his entire career last year before he actually got injured. Nobody is saying the match is going to be bad. In fact, it may actually be one of the best matches of the entire fucking show. That's not what people are complaining about. But all I hear is, why are you complaining about this? This is going to be a banger match. Bro, if I didn't complain about it, A, I wouldn't be me, and B, if one show doesn't give us story, I certainly got to complain about the other show not giving us any story. Now, granted, there is 2 weeks still left to go to tell a story. Somewhat of a story. I'm not going to say flesh out the fucking story and make it make sense in 2 weeks. At least there'll be some sort of story. Bro, Rollins and Gunther haven't had a go at it. Rollins and Gunther haven't crossed paths. Rollins and Gunther haven't had anything to say to each other. Rollins and Gunther haven't had anything to do with each other. For how long? Rollins has been on TV week after week after week with masked individuals targeting Logan Paul, Austin Theory, and Paul Heyman. Gunther was never mentioned, not a single fucking time in this entire situation. If I didn't complain about it, then people would be complaining about me not complaining about it. So here is me complaining about it. It doesn't make any fucking sense. It doesn't make any sense. If you wanted WWE to make sense of it, Seth Rollins should be teaming in some match, in some form or fashion at WrestleMania against The Vision. But that's not happening. That's not happening. So instead, we're going Rollins and Gunther. Nobody's going to convince me otherwise that Gunther and Dragunov is not the match everybody wanted. I would much rather see that than Gunther and Rollins. It doesn't make any sense. On what planet does this match make any sense? It feels forced. It feels haphazardly put together, and it seemingly feels like WWE is so desperate that they wanted to get both these guys on the WrestleMania card. So here you go. Here's a match with two guys that unfortunately had to succumb to their opponents being injured. It doesn't make any fucking sense. And if you looked at Gunther tonight,
Oh, but JD, they could write a story that Paul Heyman had made a deal with Gunther.
it's great. If they wanted to at least project that aspect of the story, then why didn't Gunther help Paul Heyman up? Why didn't they show Gunther helping Paul Heyman up? Why didn't they have Gunther and Paul Heyman at least somewhat interact in that segment tonight after he choked out Seth Rollins, instead of having Gunther just fucking point at the WrestleMania sign, wipe his face of Rollins' blood, and then walk away? Yet you don't want me to complain that it
doesn't matter if it makes any sense or not because it's going to be a banger WrestleMania match. Bro, the pro wrestling fan in 2026 is a fucking idiot. They are. You don't know what you want. You don't know what's good, what's bad, what's up, what's down, what's left, what's right. You know who does? Me. And if you don't like that I call out the shit that is forced, that is haphazardly put together, that reeks of fucking laziness, and if you don't think I'm going to call WWE out on it when I call AEW out on it every fucking week, you got the wrong fucking show here, man. You got the wrong show. It's going to be a great WrestleMania match. Maybe that's all you want. I think that WWE is putting these two guys together in the worst way possible. You may actually get a heatless match. What is there to cheer for? What is there to get invested in? They've had nothing to do with each other. Nothing. Yeah, you want me to sit there and get excited about it because it's a great pro wrestling match. How many fucking weeks do I come on here and explain when a story matters and a story is the focus, the match is better as a result? I'm sure you guys would be invested in Oba Femi and Brock Lesnar if they just randomly threw them together for WrestleMania. But how much more invested are you because we got in the last 3 weeks of fucking television? Your investment went from a fucking 1 to a 10 after 3 weeks. Yet you want me to sit there with the same level of investment in Gunther and Seth Rollins at WrestleMania? Give me a fucking break. Give me a break. I will never come on here and express, well, I don't mind it. It's a great match. I will always tell you that the story is the most important and a story is needed. Always. You could sit there and want what you want and like what you like and watch what you want to watch. You could sit there and not give a shit that there's no story. I don't do that. I don't do that. You got two guys that have nothing to do because their opponents got injured. Let's put them together and mash them up and put them on the graphic and give them a WrestleMania match. Okay. Sure. My level of interest in the match is not where it needs to be based on the two caliber of athletes that are in that match. None. It's going to be a good wrestling match. CM Punk and Roman Reigns. I've said it for weeks that this is the biggest WrestleMania match that WWE could possibly do right now, coming out of the original plans that were not going to happen. The original plans for WrestleMania were going to be Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns, and then Cody Rhodes versus CM Punk. Couldn't get any bigger than that. I'm actually sad that that's not happening. The second best course of action that WWE could have possibly given us for WrestleMania and the main events is what they're giving you now. Roman, Punk, Cody, Orton. This is the next set of WrestleMania main events that felt the second biggest. The WrestleMania build and the WrestleMania season, as I have talked about the last couple weeks, has been very much affected because WWE opted to do WrestleMania in Vegas again over the same weekend that they did last year. WrestleMania is happening at least 2 weeks later in the month than it usually does. They've done this for the last 2 years. Last year was April 19, April 20. This year it's April 18 and April 19. WWE creates worse television when they have more time for the WrestleMania build like they did last year and like they have this year. They're running out of ideas. They're running out of gas. They're running out of steam. However you want to coin the phrase and describe it, WWE is not very creative We're already getting to a point where it's like, all right, man, can we just get to WrestleMania and get this shit over with? That's how it feels. WWE on Friday had one of the absolute lamest, most dull, and overly just comedic pull-apart brawls in company history between Cody Rhodes and Randy Orton. So ridiculous that Cody Rhodes, after being bludgeoned by Randy Orton, bleeding in front of everybody 3 weeks ago, decides to show up on Friday, get off his tour bus, and gingerly walk to the ring as if he's taking his daughter out for a little stroll by the fucking pond in their neighborhood. Had no sense of urgency whatsoever. Zero sense of urgency. He acted as if Randy never fucking laid a finger on him. Then they get out there and there's this comedic pull-apart brawl where there's an eye rake and a back rake and there's punches thrown and people are backing them away from each other only for them to break away, and then they punch each other again only for them to be broken apart from each other. It all ended up getting Jelly Roll involved, and he got an RKO as the show went off the air. Fast forward to Monday, WWE gave us somewhat of a pull-apart brawl between Roman Reigns and CM Punk. It's the season of pull-apart brawls. This is because WWE has an extra 2 weeks, 3 weeks of build. They're running out of ideas. Sure, Roman Reigns and CM Punk don't really have much to say. Well, they'd have something to say if you didn't give it all away in the first 2 fucking weeks. You've had them gone out there and cut fucking nuclear bombs on each other. If you saved a little bit of what they already did for a night like tonight in front of the biggest crowd you had all fucking WrestleMania season, then maybe we didn't have to result both of these guys in the middle of the ring with a pull-apart fucking brawl. It lacks creative, it's fucking lazy, and it's lame. They don't have anything to say. Or I should say, they don't have anything more to say because they gave it all away already. And after last week, the Usos have nothing to say to CM Punk. They weren't even in the main event segment tonight. They didn't even come on out. They didn't come on out, especially after Jay acted like a mini Roman, telling Roman, you know what to do, smash him. Nothing in regards to that was followed up. No, but I'm supposed to like the segment because it's Roman and CM Punk and they got physical. Bro, this is the same company literally 2 years ago where they had Rock fucking whip Cody Rhodes in the fucking rain in front of his tour bus. In one of the most memorable segments in over 10 years on WWE television. You mean to tell me that all that creativity only from 2 years ago is completely gone out the fucking window? There's no risk. There's no taking a chance. There's no taking fun or making things fun. Or there's a company operating on not wanting to have fun. Roman comes on out. Acknowledge me. CM Punk's music hits. Everybody sings along. He's got his tapes. He's got his wrist taped up. He gets into the ring. They start throwing punches at each other. And then it results in a pull-apart brawl, which doesn't make any sense because they stopped Oba Femi and Brock Lesnar from fighting each other earlier. But they don't give a shit about Roman Reigns and CM Punk beating the shit out of each other. Make it make sense! What's the main event and what's not the main event? If you're going to stop one guy from fighting another guy, then maybe you should stop these guys from fighting as well. Or maybe not do it at all. Comes on out, got his tape on his wrists. They start throwing punches, pull apart brawl, and it results in another spot through the announce table. Another power bomb through the announce table. This is why I said on social media, Oba Femi and Brock Lesnar feels like more of a main event than both Cody, Orton, Punk, and Roman put together. Yeah, you want me to sit there and praise because they got physical. Your version of physical is not my version of physical. With this version of physical, we've been there, done that. With this version of physical, you actually enjoy rinse and repeat. I don't. This is a multi-billion-dollar fucking company. Get some fucking creative that's going to give me something new, something fresh, and something different than what we just saw on Friday. And something different than what we just saw last week. Roman puts Punk through a table last week. So Punk's got to put Roman through a table this week. Oh, man, let me get excited. Bro, is your level of WrestleMania season that low? Or are you just someone that doesn't give a shit anymore? Bro, you got so many different resources to work with, and they just opt to do the same thing over and over and over and over and over again. Fuck me for wanting something fresh and new and not having to see the same spot as we saw last week again this week. No Usos, no words, punches and a pull-apart brawl and a GTS and a table to Roman through the table. Okay, that's great. Yeah, that's going to get me excited for that WrestleMania match. Bro, I haven't been excited. In fact, the moment that they actually put them in the ring together following the Royal Rumble is the highest of the excitement levels for this match. Not to say that I'm not excited about the match, because the match is going to be fucking really, really good. And there's a lot of history there. But the peak of excitement was that first week, and we've only been going down ever since. They legitimately announced this match the day following Roman winning the Royal Rumble. Then Roman took 4 weeks off because he had nothing to do for the Elimination Chamber, only to then come back, and then they started the WrestleMania build. The level of excitement for these two guys has gone down and down and down, week by week by week. And now they're just running on the same fucking tired formula week by week by week by week. Cody Rhodes and Stephanie McMahon. They opened the show tonight in a segment that I actually thought somewhat, not totally, somewhat redeemed themselves from that awful pull-apart brawl from Friday Night SmackDown. We'll get into what was said there. Some people didn't like it. Some people did like it. I was in the camp that did like it. Then we got the women's tag team title situation. They finally announced this fucking ridiculous fatal four-way for the women's tag team championships. The Intercontinental Championship will be defended at WrestleMania in a ladder match. There's only 5 people added right now. They could obviously add more people over the next 2 weeks. But Penta will be defending his title at WrestleMania. Liv and Stephanie got into it. Finn and Dominik was made official tonight. So WWE, they hastily rushed to get these matches announced for WrestleMania because there is only 2 weeks left to go. And we're going to talk about what was, again, a very heavy storyline-driven and rush to get the WrestleMania card fleshed out episode of Monday Night Raw, where the pro wrestling once again took a big-time back seat. We'll talk about it all right here on the Monday Night Raw Post Show, right here on Off the Script. I got to shout my guy out. Chairshot Sports with a $100 super chat. Hey, JD, aside from the confusion with Gunther and Seth, these are some awesome cards for both nights of WrestleMania. Yeah. WrestleMania is looking, at least on paper, a lot better than it was last year. I agree. Chairshot Sports. Thank you, brother, for the $100 super chat. Appreciate you being here, and we're going to get into it on this Monday night. Follow me on social media at JD from NY206. Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and Cameo. Hit that subscribe button down below. Turn on the bell for all notifications. Go check out all the content on the channel. We were busy last week, and we got tonight and tomorrow, man. We're going to end March with a bang. Tonight, we're live in front of almost 3,000 people. And tomorrow, Mr. Tuesday, because we got 11:30 a.m. tomorrow morning, episode 3 of the 2 Count with myself and Jonathan Coachman, where we will talk about what happened on Monday Night Raw. We'll dabble in a little AEW, a little SmackDown. We got great discussions coming out of that show. We got a great list of topics for tomorrow. That is on Coach's YouTube channel, Behind the Turnbuckle. So you guys show up tomorrow morning, get your morning coffee ready, and sit down with me and Coach. It should be a good one. Tomorrow night, the Solomonster and I will be live for the number 1 two-man show in the entire community. Nobody, and I mean nobody, comes even close. Tuesday Night Titans. Tomorrow night, 8:30, we will go over everything that happened on Monday night, Friday night, and AEW Dynamite. So tune in tomorrow night, 8:30 p.m. Eastern, right here on this channel. Myself and the Solomonster, best co-host anybody could ask for. We'll be live tomorrow night for Tuesday Night Titans. Tonight we're sponsored by Blue Chew. Blue Chew Gold. Make sure you guys get in on that. Blue Chew Gold. Promo code JD. Right now, when you buy 2 months of Blue Chew Gold, you're going to get the 3rd one for free with code JD at BlueChew.com. We'll go over my friends over at Blue Chew a little bit later on in the show. Hit that thumbs up. Leave a comment down below. And as always, super chats are open. Get them on in. We'll hang out at the end of the show. It's the best way to support the show via the super chats. I wanted to go over this because, I tweeted and people really just, they can't help themselves. They got to defend a multi-billion-dollar company because they feel like this multi-billion-dollar company is worth defending for whatever reason. Meanwhile, this multi-billion-dollar company couldn't give a single fuck if you're alive or breathing. WWE, today, they announced John Cena to host WrestleMania 42. Now, WWE typically has hosts, I wouldn't say pretty frequently, but WWE from time to time has a host for WrestleMania, whether it's The Miz or Cardi B or one of these fucking D-list celebrities that they want to bring on in. There's usually a host. And most of the time, they welcome us to WrestleMania after America the Beautiful, or they trot them out later in the show to go over the attendance and the record-breaking attendance that they had for the 2-night WrestleMania event, whatever it may be. Nobody is saying anything about WWE getting a guest host for WrestleMania. It's a fairly normal occurrence. What people have a problem with is the fact that WWE announced this, and it was reported today that John Cena would host WrestleMania, and the reason he's hosting WrestleMania is because WWE is hoping that it increases some ticket sales over the next 2 weeks. Now that they announced John Cena will be hosting WrestleMania. Now, that remains to be seen how much of an effect John Cena has on ticket sales, being that he's merely just a host. I doubt it's anything significant. But the way that I look at it is, if you didn't get a chance to see John Cena on his last night in WWE as an active in-ring performer on December 13th in Washington, D.C., this may actually propel you to go to WWE's event this year in Las Vegas and see John Cena in person because you didn't get to see him on December 13th in Washington, D.C. This is not just some regular WWE superstar. This is John Cena. I seen all the WWE defenders out today. Oh, this is a normal thing. When WWE has their biggest show of the year, all hands are on deck. Of course they're going to bring out their A-plus players. This was already announced. This was in the works. John Cena was going to be at WrestleMania. They already let you know last year that John Cena signed the Legends deal, that he's going to be part of WWE. I heard every fucking excuse under the sun about why John Cena was a host for this year's WrestleMania, announced today. If WWE had a plan for John Cena to host WrestleMania, don't you think they would have announced John Cena as the host of WrestleMania? I don't know. 5 weeks ago, 6 weeks ago? Kind of convenient that they just announced him as the host for WrestleMania 2 weeks to go. Nobody's complaining about John Cena being there. We're complaining about the act of desperation showcased by WWE. If they had a plan for John Cena to host WrestleMania, I'm assuming WWE was very well aware of what Cena can do and can't do, when he can do it and when he can't do it. Why didn't they announce him 5-6 weeks ago? John Cena was already going to be at the fucking Hall of Fame, wasn't he? Why didn't they announce him for WrestleMania? Why didn't they? Because this came about literally within the last 7 days, more than likely. Chat. WWE is using John Cena, per a report from PW Insider, to help boost ticket sales for a WrestleMania where they are coming in under their allotted predictions for ticket sales. The bigwigs over at TKO, the shareholders, are not happy with the progress of tickets because tickets are more expensive this year. And though WWE made more money than they did last year based off the price of ticket this year compared to last year with less of an attendance, don't you think these money-hungry, fucking greedy suit and tie motherfuckers, don't you think that they want even more people there so that they almost double the amount of fucking revenue from last year to this year? Bro, if they're missing 10,000 per night, that's 20,000 people that they are not getting the almighty dollar from. If John Cena is going to help boost their ticket sales, that's great and all. Should have been announced 5 weeks ago if this was the plan. Do you know why I don't like it? Because WWE is not giving you any time to miss John Cena, who just retired 4 months ago. The guy called it a day 4 months ago. He said goodbye to everybody 4 months ago. And now they're already trotting him out there on April 18 and April 19 to host WrestleMania. You did not give me any time to miss John Cena. It's like he never fucking left. He's going to be on TV. He's going to be at WrestleMania. He's going to have a microphone in his hand. You're not giving me any time to miss him. He should be away. He should stay away. And he should be doing what he wants in life after retirement. Not right back to WWE 4 months after he fucking retired. But people don't understand that type of thinking. They immediately want to go and defend WWE to the death with their pitchforks and their fucking torches. If WWE is using John Cena for ticket sales and to boost ticket sales, maybe it says there's a problem elsewhere. Maybe your ticket prices are way too fucking high for the normal person to actually want to go and attend. Maybe the problem is you. Maybe the problem is your greed. If you lowered the fucking ticket prices and made them affordable for everybody to attend the fucking show, maybe you wouldn't need John Cena. Maybe you wouldn't need to trot out John Cena to fucking night 1 and night 2 to host the fucking show, to do nothing, so that you leech off of him some more just because he's John fucking Cena. Haven't you leeched off him enough? You gave him one of the worst retirement runs of all time, and now you want to leech off him some more. Can't say that, though, because people like me are not having fun, and people like me are MAGA, and this is what a MAGA guy or a MAGA supporter would do. Get the fuck out of here, bro. What the fuck are you talking about? You want to actively defend a multi-billion-dollar company from keeping this show from the actual paying customer, normal 9-to-5 people, to trot out John Cena to help boost ticket sales. Meanwhile, the fucking price of the tickets is the fucking problem. And the creative, don't get me started. If they actually put any sort of effort into the fucking creative and gave us a WrestleMania season that, I don't know, felt like WrestleMania season, maybe people would think, maybe people would ponder, maybe going to the show. Because the better the television is, the better the stories are, people are going to want to see what you're selling. They're going to want to be a part of what you're selling. But if you don't give them anything to actually give a shit about, outside a match here or a match there or a big-time match here, I don't know what to tell you, man. I don't know what to tell you. So no, I am not for John Cena hosting the show. I don't give a fuck if John Cena is there or not. It's the premise behind why John Cena is there. They could have gotten anybody else to host the show. They could have gotten anybody else to host the show. No, but it's got to be the guy who retired 4 months ago, and we're not allowed to miss him because they need him once again to sell tickets to a poorly received and poorly attended WrestleMania because of their own fault. Pardon me if I don't give a fuck about TKO's fucking problems. Give me a fucking break. Danhausen could have absolutely hosted WrestleMania. But Danhausen is not going to make them any money in the way John Cena is going to make them money. What do I know? Cody Rhodes. He kicks off Monday Night Raw at Madison Square Garden. I don't know why we needed Cody Rhodes on the show, but WWE wanted to give us a big-time Raw. So they trot out the WWE Champion, Cody Rhodes. So he's out there. He's cheered. No boos here. He's cheered. He said MSG was the home of the WWE Championship, and the champion would always be present at Madison Square Garden. What do we want to talk about? All of a sudden, Stephanie McMahon interrupted. Yes, Triple H's wife, Stephanie McMahon, the daughter of Vince McMahon, she will be inducted into the Hall of Fame this year as the headliner for this year's class of the Hall of Fame. She interrupts Cody Rhodes. Now, our good friend Sean Ross Sapp had to, again, project his anger in sarcasm because that's what he does when he feels like his feathers were ruffled or someone got the best of him. He tweets, and I quote, Stephanie McMahon with a surprise appearance on Monday Night Raw. How much of the media is on WWE's payroll? A bunch of exclamation points and a bunch of question marks. This wasn't reported. Yes, it wasn't reported SRS because no matter how important you think you are or how important the journalists in the community, the fraudulent journalists in the community think they are, there's nobody there, nobody at Fightful, Sean Ross Sapp, nobody at The Observer, John Alba, all these other fucking hacks. There is nobody within the community that has access to the likes of Stephanie McMahon or anybody of that type of status. So the reason why nobody was given this type of information is because they do not get that type of information, ever. Never will, never have. That's why. Sapp could get cheese baskets from Triple H all he wants. The only reason why he got a cheese basket is A, he sent it to himself to get pity from the rest of the fucking geeks online, or Triple H sent it to him as a rib. Because he's a fucking rat. That's why. And rats love cheese. Moving on. Cody was surprised to see him, or see her. She wasn't sure why, because her last name was McMahon, and this was the place her grandfather built. He asked Stephanie what she wants to talk about. Stephanie says she wanted to talk about him and Randy Orton at WrestleMania. Rhodes is looking at Stephanie and she says, as she looks him in the face, "You're not going to like what I have to say." Now, I thought she was going to actually give us clues on who the fucking mystery phone call was from Randy Orton. A lot of people are already insinuating that Stephanie McMahon may be the mystery caller. Or that Triple H may be the mystery caller. Or worse, Vince McMahon is the mystery caller. Can you imagine? I can't. She said the three of them were multi-generational talents. Meaning her, Orton, and Cody. And knew what it was like to be at the top. They all took different ways to get where they are right now. Cody Rhodes took what she called the golden path. He was true to himself. He believed he could bring out the best in everybody. Stephanie went on to say that he could not do it this time against this version of Randy Orton. Chat, she went on to say this version of Randy Orton was diabolical. Rhodes didn't have to be diabolical, but he had to be able to think like Randy Orton. Dusty knew that. Dusty could get down and dirty, but Cody was not Dusty. Cody was not his father. This Cody could not beat this Orton. I'm going to stop there. Chat, is this the most diabolical version of Randy Orton that we've ever seen? I'm genuinely asking you. I'm genuinely curious to see what people think about this version of Randy Orton. I don't think Randy Orton's been given enough time to show us how this version is oh so diabolical. Now, I got some situations here. Chat. Maybe you could tell me if this version of Randy Orton is more diabolical than the Randy Orton that set The Undertaker on fire inside a casket at No Mercy in 2005. Is this version of Randy Orton more diabolical than that Randy Orton? How about the 2007 version of Randy Orton? That version punted John Cena's father in the head. How about the version of Randy Orton in 2009 where he DDT'd and kissed Stephanie McMahon in front of Triple H, who was handcuffed to the bottom rope? How about punting Vince McMahon in the head in 2009? How about RKOing Stacy Keibler out of nowhere and turning heel in early 2005? How about burning Bray Wyatt's compound? Is he more diabolical than that? How about brutally beating The Miz in front of his real parents in 2013 on an episode of Monday Night Raw? Or how about the concerto to Edge, faking a rated RKO reunion, then hit Edge with an RKO followed by a brutal concerto to the head? Is he more diabolical than that, Randy Orton? Why are things said like that on national television in the current day when they don't live up to anything I just mentioned to you? I get that you got a match to sell. I get that you got a championship main event to sell. But for anybody to listen to Stephanie McMahon say these words, you are automatically going to question what the fuck WWE is doing. They've done nothing with this version of Randy Orton that even comes close to any one of those situations that I mentioned across his career. So why is something like that allowed to be said on national television in order to sell a match when it's absolutely unequivocally false? Rhodes said the last thing he wanted to do was be rude to Stephanie. He knew all about Randy Orton better than anybody. He knew Orton punted people's heads off, his father included. Orton did stuff so vile, they couldn't show it today. Yes. Including things he did to Stephanie. Fans wanted the student-teacher dynamic from both him and Randy, but he ceased to be the student a long time ago. He wasn't the student when he was Orton's babysitter, making sure Orton was still breathing in the car that they rode together. Rhodes was not the student, and he was also not afraid. He said he is not his father. You want to bring up fathers? I'm not mine. You're right. And Stephanie, with all due respect, you're not yours either. Which got a lot of oohs and ahs from the crowd. Stephanie, with this comment, smacked Cody in the face. Stephanie said she was out there because she cared about Cody Rhodes. She was there because no one else was giving him guidance. Rhodes didn't understand what Orton was capable of. Orton was just listening to the voices in his head. He beckoned them, she said. And it appeared he was listening to someone else as well. Again, no clues onto who this may be. Now, I know Kevin Owens played into it today on social media by uploading a video to X with a Cody Rhodes stuffed animal with the Cody Rhodes theme song playing in the background. It could be Kevin Owens. It could be The Rock. We don't know. We don't know. It could be WWE playing all of this up for show and tell, for effect. It could ultimately be nothing. It could just merely be something that WWE is doing to build intrigue and add an extra layer of interest to the match. Unless Rhodes learned to think like Randy Orton, he's going to lose the title at WrestleMania. Stephanie was about to leave. Rhodes grabbed her by the arm, turned her around, said, "Stephanie, I have two words for you." And the crowd obviously yelled, "Suck it." Cody said, "Thank you." And he left. The fans were not too keen on Cody saying thank you because that made the entire moments just kind of fall flat on its face. They wanted something completely different, and you heard the moans, audible moans and groans of everybody in Madison Square Garden. I enjoyed this segment. A, because it was a genuine surprise. Stephanie McMahon is going to be inducted into the Hall of Fame. She knows just as much about what's going on than Triple H does. So for her to be out there and for people to complain about her inclusion here is fucking ridiculous. She knows exactly what's going in and around, in, on, and around WWE. So she has every right to be out there just as much as anybody else. The whole purpose of this promo was to get Cody in a mindset that he's got to be and act like Randy Orton, because he asked for this version of Randy Orton. Cody cannot go into WrestleMania being the Cody that we've come to know on television. Otherwise, he will lose. Now, granted, Randy Orton hasn't done really anything to showcase how diabolical he is. We may still end up getting that. I saw Brandy tweeting, telling Stephanie, don't let me get up. I was looking here to relax. Don't let me get up and start talking. I would love to see Brandy show up on television, get in front of Stephanie McMahon, and have a few choice words for Stephanie McMahon, only to get RKO'd by Randy Orton. I think that would be great. I think that would be fantastic. It wouldn't be the first time Brandy was added to a feud to get some extra heat on Cody's opponent. We have 2 weeks still left to go. Hopefully WWE is thinking along the lines of diabolical, because we haven't seen diabolical Randy Orton in 2026. He didn't set anybody on fire. He didn't fucking punt kick anybody yet. So for Cody to be diabolical, he's going to have something happen to him that is going to drive him to be diabolical. I don't know what WWE has planned. This could very well have been a Stephanie McMahon foreshadowing of what's to come. Cody hasn't seen the worst of Randy Orton in 2026. We haven't even gotten a glimpse into what we know Randy Orton can do. We saw what he's capable of 3 weeks ago, but we haven't seen that diabolical side. This very well may have been a foreshadowing by Stephanie McMahon of, if he's not paying attention close enough, Randy is going to fucking eat him alive. I thought this segment was effective. And I also think that this segment is going to serve as a foreshadowing of what potentially is to come with Cody Rhodes if he's not paying close enough attention to Randy Orton. I don't know why people didn't like this. This certainly made up for the fucking shit segment we got on Friday night with the fucking pull-apart brawl that ended up getting Jelly Roll RKO'd. A Jelly Roll, by the way, who got 4 segments on Friday Night SmackDown, which is a problem in itself. I Show Speed. He's backstage with Adam Pearce. They were interrupted by Danhausen. Speed told Danhausen he had a terrible week. Things are going wrong. Flights are getting canceled. Streams aren't going well. He wants to be uncursed. Danhausen had a list of crazy demands, and he wants to make this curse go away, but he wants what he wants from I Show Speed. Pierce tried to get him out of there. He tried to cheer him up. He said, I got your front row seats for the men's tag team title match. LA Knight shows up. He's the guest announcer for this match, and he takes Speed out to the ringside area with him. Tag team title match. New York City street fight. Jimmy and Jey Uso defend the tag team titles against Logan Paul and Austin Theory. This barely went 9 minutes. Now, last week, we got a situation where the Vision beat the Usos due to a pair of brass knucks getting involved. They used the brass knucks, which were introduced by Logan Paul, obviously taken by LA Knight, who ends up fumbling the brass knucks. And then the Vision win with the usage of the brass knucks last week. Non-title match, they beat the Usos. They got a tag team title match this week. New York City street fight. So, this week it was a title match. We go into a commercial literally 60 seconds into the fucking match. We come back to in-ring action. Usos are hitting a signature dive over the top rope. Vision had weapons. They were in control. Super kicks, kendo stick shots, trash can shots. They placed the trash can over Logan Paul, and they started going to town with the kendo sticks over the trash can, which held Logan Paul. Double superplex off the middle rope through a table to Austin Theory by the Usos. By the way, the Usos had new theme music, I forgot to mention. They got Def Rebelled. So they're no longer coming out to Jey Uso's theme music. Could give away that maybe something's going to happen with Jey Uso at WrestleMania. So after the superplex spot, Logan Paul approached his mother in the front row. Yes, Logan Paul's mother was in the front row. And Logan Paul's mother is also very heelish. She's more of a heel than Ricochet is. She knows how to play a heel better than Ricochet does. Unbelievable. Mama Logan. Mama Paul out there. Playing a better heel than Ricochet ever could. Hands her son brass knuckles. I Show Speed is sitting next to Logan Paul's mother. Front row. He's trying to reason with Logan Paul to not use the brass knuckles. LA Knight, who's commentating this match, gets up from the commentary table and goes over to Logan Paul. Logan Paul grabbed onto I Show Speed because Logan Paul was being grabbed by LA Knight. He tried to stop the brass knuckles from being used here because everything is legal in this match. So Paul grabbed onto Speed to save himself here from LA Knight, but he pulled Speed over the barricade, and now he's standing ringside over the barricade. LA Knight threw Logan Paul into the ring post, and I Show Speed put the brass knuckles on. Now he's not facing Logan Paul and LA Knight. He puts the brass knuckles on. He's like amazed that he's got the brass knuckles on. So LA Knight comes up from behind I Show Speed. I Show Speed turns around and he smashes LA Knight in the face with a right hand with the brass knuckles on. He eventually realized that he made a grave mistake because he punched the wrong man. He might have been going for Logan Paul, and he immediately was filled with regret. He was worried. So Logan Paul gets up. He's got the brass knuckles. He tried to use them on Jimmy. Jimmy evades the brass knuckle shot. Usos handed out super kicks to both Austin Theory and Logan Paul. Jay speared Theory, went for the top rope big splash. Logan Paul decked Jimmy with the brass knuckles. Jay went after Logan Paul. Theory rolled over onto Jimmy, who was unconscious because he got hit with the brass knuckles. Anything goes here because it's a street fight. Jimmy gets pinned by Austin Theory. 1, 2, 3. And the Vision are the new WWE Tag Team Champions. World Tag Team Champions. Logan Paul and Austin Theory celebrated with I Show Speed in the aisleway. And I Show Speed didn't want to be there because he knew he had fucked up. There was nothing about this street fight that was overly entertaining. It was truly paint by numbers stuff by WWE. But for those wondering what LA Knight is doing at WrestleMania, folks, you got your WrestleMania match right here. 6-man tag team match. The Usos and Logan Paul, or the Usos and LA Knight versus Logan Paul, Austin Theory, and I Show Speed. They're getting I Show Speed into the ring at WrestleMania. 6-man tag team match. Also, WWE, they are so hell-bent on making this road to WrestleMania unpredictable. We got an Intercontinental title change a couple of weeks ago with Penta beating Dominik for the title. We got Sami Zayn on Friday beating Carmelo Hayes for the United States Championship. And we got this tag team championship trading hands. It went from the Usos to the Vision. Same thing on SmackDown. The MFTs lost the tag team titles to Damian Priest and R-Truth. All these title changes before WrestleMania. What does it really matter? It doesn't matter if the Vision are tag team champions or the Usos are tag team champions. The only thing I could say is the reason why they took the tag team titles off of the Usos is because they have something bigger planned, something bigger in mind for both Jimmy and Jay. And more than likely, they will both be getting involved in the Roman and CM Punk Night 2 main event, where I believe something is going to go down. Whether that's a bloodline reunion, whether that's something else we're not thinking of, they will absolutely be a part of the main event for Night 2. Meanwhile, I said we'll get this 6-man tag team match just to get LA Knight on the show, and WWE could brag with I Show Speed getting in the ring, and they can go viral on social media. That's all they care about. New tag team champions here in Logan Paul and Austin Theory. It doesn't even really matter because the tag team division is fucking dead. There's no tag team division on either show. It doesn't matter who the champions are. Liv Morgan. She was in the ring and she had wanted to address Stephanie Vaquer. This is the WWE Women's World Championship match at WrestleMania. They've done a better job with this than Rhea Ripley and Jade Cargill, which I'll get into in a second. So Liv Morgan's out there, and she's cutting a promo on Stephanie Vaquer. Morgan does this annoying thing where she says everyone is in the presence of the greatest Royal Rumble winner of all time, and she just accentuates all time. It's got to be one of the most annoying things Liv Morgan has ever done in her career. It's got to be the most annoying thing on WWE television when she comes out and says the greatest Royal Rumble winner of all time. It doesn't sound good. Maybe it's meant to sound like that to annoy people because she's a heel. It just doesn't sound good. My ears are bleeding. And I love Liv Morgan. Then says that's as cute as she will be tonight. And then she got angry. She tells Stephanie Vaquer that she's done for. Then says it's one thing for Stephanie to attack her, but it's another thing to attack her Judgment Day family. She mocks Stephanie and asks if she's scared to confront her one-on-one. Then she says she knows Stephanie is very proud of where she comes from. Morgan says her mother taught her to never let anyone get the better of her and calls out Stephanie Vaquer. Stephanie's music hits. She makes her way out. She's angry. She takes out Morgan with a kick, grabs a chair from ringside, gets back in the ring. She's about to blast Liv Morgan with the steel chair, but all of a sudden we see a returning Roxanne Perez. She appears out of nowhere and attacks Stephanie Vaquer from behind, and she ends up helping Liv Morgan in a 2-on-1 attack on Stephanie Vaquer. Morgan and Perez stand over Stephanie. Eventually, they use the chair. Morgan delivers Oblivion. And that was the way she ended the segment. by yelling at Stephanie saying, "I'm better than you, bitch." Okay. Now, I think that they've done a slightly better job here than the feud with Rhea and Jade. The feud with Rhea and Jade is fucking bad television. Let's be honest. It's bad television. It's giving me Charlotte and Tiffany Stratton vibes from last year at WrestleMania. And that match sucked. I don't think this match with Jade and Rhea is going to be any better. Any better. At least Tiffany and Charlotte can wrestle. Rhea can wrestle. Jade cannot. So we may be looking at a disaster. But I'm going to say this, and I've said this. If you think WWE operating with Rhea and Jade makes the WrestleMania card better, you're clueless. If you think WWE is giving you the best women's matches that they can this year for WrestleMania, and there are a lot, Rhea Jade, AJ Becky, who we did not see tonight at Madison Square Garden, which was kind of weird, Liv and Stephanie, the women's tag team title situation, which includes 4 teams, and then we get Io and Asuka. 5 matches. And I'm assuming we'll get Tiffany and Julia for the United States Championship. And if Chelsea Green is cleared, Julia, Tiffany, and Chelsea Green in a triple threat match for the United States title. Just to get Chelsea Green on the show. 6 matches. If you think that this is the best collective of matches that WWE has for the women, it's not. They could have given us a Rhea and Io banger. And that would have completely offset everything that we're going to get at WrestleMania. Charlotte versus Jade, which might not have been that much better than Rhea versus Jade, but at least WWE would have that one sole attraction for WrestleMania. You got all these matches, and the only thing close to being an attraction, and we've seen it twice already, is Becky versus AJ. Anything else on this show, as far as the women are concerned, there's not one major attraction. They are just matches that are good enough for a B-level pay-per-view, not a WrestleMania. I love for you to tell me when I'm telling any sort of lie here. The one major attraction that WWE had a chance to give us, they did not, which was Rhea and Io, and the story was right there. So they opted to give us 6 mid matches instead of giving us 1 major match and then 5 other mid matches. Great. I will die on that hill. There's not 1 star match for the women at WrestleMania. Not 1 big time main event match for the women. Not 1. Everything else is just there. Everything feels like it should be on a B-level pay-per-view and not a WrestleMania. Austin Theory and Logan Paul, they were backstage celebrating with the tag team titles. IShowSpeed wanted to make it clear that he did not want to get involved earlier. Logan Paul did not want to hear it. He's like, they got him. We're going to protect you. Don't worry about it. He laughed and said, IShowSpeed has enemies now. Ha ha. Speed tried pleading with them until Paul Heyman comes in and says, what are you worried about? You got these guys to protect you. Go take them out for a nice celebratory dinner. Get them out of here. Adam Pearce approached Paul Heyman as he joked the Usos are going to kill him, meaning Speed. Pearce approached Heyman and asked if he had checked his email. Heyman brushed off even checking his email, and he left. He starts laughing, and he was very kind of dismissive of Adam Pearce email. Who replies to emails in 2026? Women's Tag Team Championship. Nia Jax and Lash Legend
They defend the tag team titles against Bayley and Lyra. This went about 10 minutes, 11 minutes or so. Chat. The women's tag team situation on WWE television, and we've seen some bad segments on WWE television. We've seen some bad segments on AEW television. Bro, the War Dogs, Darby Allin, Orange Cassidy, and Roderick Strong, David Finlay, Clark Connors, and Gabe Kidd, all full television. MFTs versus Wyatt Six, all full television as they battle over the fucking lantern. All full television. Right in that same camp is the women's tag team title situation with Nia Jax and Lash Legend, Alexa Bliss and Charlotte Flair, the Bella Twins, Bayley and Lyra. Bayley and Lyra, out of all three teams, are the most innocent. This is some of the worst television that you will see all year. This is just genuinely awful, awful television. Bro, their level of creative is having random tag team matches every week with a revolving door of teams interfering in that tag team title match to cause a no contest. And then they do the same thing the very next week with a different team interfering in the tag team title match. And then the very next week, they do the same thing over and over and over again until we get to a point like we got to a point tonight where they finally announce a fatal four-way. Like we didn't know this was going to result in a fatal four-way match at WrestleMania. If you think this is story, you're a fucking clueless mark. This is nothing close to telling a story. Nothing. Story has dialogue. Story has chapters. Story has a beginning, a middle, and an end. Story, to me, you may think differently because you may be a feeble-minded fucking idiot. Story, to me, means that we go from one week to the next week to the next week with drama and intensity and dialogue and just level of excitement. Bro, we got the Bella Twins out there and Charlotte Flair out there with Alexa Bliss causing a DQ, no contest, whatever it may be, because they got robbed of their tag team title match on SmackDown. So they come into Madison Square Garden tonight and they end this match with a fucking weak-ass chop block to Nia Jax. Ding, 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 ding. The bell rings and we get a no contest. Or DQ, whatever it may be. This may be the most heatless match at WrestleMania. This will undoubtedly be the bathroom break for many people watching at home. This is some of the worst television all year between either promotion on Monday and Wednesday night. Monday, Friday, and Wednesday night. I don't know why we couldn't take the titles off of Nia Jax and Lash Legend, put them on either Charlotte, Alexa, Bayley, or Lyra. I don't know why we can't get a standard tag team match with Bayley, Lyra versus Charlotte and Alexa at WrestleMania for the women's tag team titles. Why do we need the Bella Twins? What is the purpose for the Bella Twins to be there? Nobody wants to see the Bella Twins. Nobody gives a shit about the Bella Twins winning a tag team championship in what will more than likely be their final year. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. And the crowd goes balls! Boring! Anything that Nia Jax is a part of is complete dog shit. No matter what she touches, it turns to dog shit. In fact, everybody says I should be up on Lash Legend.
Everybody says I got to get on board with Lash Legend. Bro, I can't get on board with Lash Legend until she's actively removed from the Nia Jax situation. Nia Jax is actively bringing Lash Legend down. She's terrible. She's fucking terrible. I don't know who's worse, Lash or Jade. Fucking awful. Nia Jax and Lash Legend beat Bayley and Lyra due to disqualification. After the match, Jax and Legend were attacked by everyone else and knocked out of the ring as the 18,000 in Madison Square Garden were chanting, "Boring! Boring." Danhausen. He announced during a commercial break that Saturday night's main event is returning to Madison Square Garden on July 18th. I wonder if AEW will have a pay-per-view that weekend. I'm sure WWE has conveniently added a show that weekend because AEW has a show that same Sunday. Brock Lesnar. He's out there, and he is actually in wrestling attire. He's looking to fight tonight. Lesnar, wearing ring gear, out there with Heyman. Heyman repeated basically what he said the last 2 weeks, that Lesnar was distracted. He was caught off guard by Oba Femi. Last week, Lesnar was not there for a fight. He simply wanted a conversation with Oba Femi. This week, however, after what we saw the last 2 weeks, Lesnar was dressed to fight tonight at Madison Square Garden. Heyman has seen this before in WWE and in UFC. When a man locks eyes with Brock Lesnar, they usually piss themselves and leave a puddle of piss in the ring. They might as well wipe up Oba Femi along with the puddle of piss. Lesnar grabs the microphone away from Paul Heyman. He did not want to listen to Paul Heyman talk about urine anymore. He angrily called out Oba Femi, and he said he's looking for a fight. Enough talking. Oba Femi, get your ass out here right now. So Adam Pearce comes on out with security geeks because apparently he wants to preserve one of his WrestleMania main events. I'm genuinely wondering if they will take a chance on making this the night one main event. This certainly feels like a bigger main event than fucking Cody Rhodes and Randy Orton, I'll tell you that right now. I don't think they'll do that. They're just talking. Everything's a fucking main event to these people. Like everything that's a big match, a big attraction's got to be a WrestleMania main event. This is one of the WrestleMania main events across 2 nights. It's not going to be the main event, but that's WWE lingo for you. That's how they usually speak. It's their language. Oba Femi comes on out anyway. Security runs after Oba. He does the whole entrance. Fans are chanting, Oba, and they're barking along with his theme music. So Oba is strutting to the ring. Security geeks run after Oba. They run up the aisle at Oba. This guy is throwing them around, clotheslining a couple of geeks. He takes one guy, bro. He takes this one security geek and he fucking launches him in the air, in the aisleway. Bro, I do not want to be that guy on this night, man. He took a nasty spill. Oba threw him like fucking last week's garbage. Dropped him right on the fucking floor in the aisleway. Adam Pearce gets in Oba's face. Oba shoves Adam Pearce into the barricade, and he starts circling the ring like a fucking shark. So he starts circling the ring like a shark. Crowd's chanting for Oba. He gets in the ring. He faces off with Lesnar. Crowd's chanting, holy shit, holy shit. Triple H. Don't know where he came from. He slips into the ring, and he gets in between Brock and Oba. He keeps them at bay. No fight tonight as Triple H is trying to calm everybody down. He's yelling at Heyman, get your guy out of the ring. He's pointing to the WrestleMania sign, looking at Oba. That's where it takes place. That's where you fight. WrestleMania. Crowd's booing. Crowd's chanting, let them fight, let them fight. Lesnar backs out of the ring with Paul Heyman. He's smiling as he does so. Triple H again points at the sign. He's telling both of them they can fight at WrestleMania. Lesnar was so angry that he didn't get to battle Oba Femi tonight that he took one of the security geeks who was already selling on the outside, lying on the floor, picks one of them up and delivers an F5 to one of the security geeks. Third week in a row where I think WWE booked this to perfection. Week 1 was the fall from grace and that incredible call by Michael Cole. Week 2 was Oba Femi getting the best of Brock Lesnar again, clotheslining him over the top rope, and Lesnar selling shock and awe on his face, kind of underestimating Oba Femi. Now, everybody thought this week that they'd have another situation and maybe Lesnar would get the best of Oba Femi. That did not happen tonight. They opted to go the route of, let's get them in the ring, let's get them to the brink, and then pull the plug. Triple H, of all people, gets involved and separates them and tells them they fight at WrestleMania. I know a lot of people are not going to like this because Oba did not get destroyed in week 3 by Brock. I get it. But if you don't think this made the match even bigger than it was already last week, then you don't know what the fuck you're watching. The fact that Triple H needed to get involved, I find it funny how they needed to separate these guys, but they didn't give a fuck about CM Punk and Roman Reigns fighting in the main event segment. A little consistency goes a long way, but I don't book the fucking show. The fact that Triple H got involved, and I know a lot of people are going to be like, oh, well, he's looking to make everything about himself. That's fine. The fact that Triple H got involved made this feel fucking big. The fact that they didn't throw hands made it feel big. Listen to the crowd. They want it. WWE is only going to give you a fucking morsel of what's to come. They've already sold you. They sold you on it. You already bought in. What does WWE got to give you the fucking main meal for? They're not going to give you the fucking main course yet. You got to wait for 2 weeks. They're going to do everything to make this feel big. This felt big. Crowd is into it. They're chanting for Oba. They're chanting holy shit. They're chanting holy shit. They didn't throw one fucking punch tonight. WWE doesn't need to cater to the audience. You're already bought in, and you're going to be bought in on April fucking 18, 19, whenever this match takes place. I would hope to see it on night 2 because I think night 2 is going to be the bigger night. This was great. This was great. Preserve. That's what they're doing. They're giving you just enough. Just enough. It's like you go to a bar. Instead of ordering a fucking full beer, you get a taste menu. You get 4 little fucking flights of beer. You get a taste of it. And then you order the main beer that you want to drink. This is what WWE is doing. They're giving you a tasting menu. They're giving you a little bit of this, a little bit of that, a little bit of this, a little bit of that. And then when you get to WrestleMania, then, and only then, is when you get the full glass. That's what they're doing. You can't fault them for that. This was fucking great. This was great. And I said on social media, I'm going to repeat it again. Outside of what we've gotten so far with Cody and Randy and Punk and Roman, those are main event matches just based on the caliber performer that's in those main event matches. The build has been questionable. The last couple of weeks, they've been questionable. It has not been questionable when it's come to Brock and Oba. They've been the best thing on the show for 3 straight weeks. This feels like a bigger, not saying it is, but it certainly feels in execution bigger than both Cody, Randy, Punk, and Roman. And you cannot deny that. That's factual. I can't wait for this match. I am most excited out of everything on WrestleMania. I'm most excited about this match. Man, is Oba Femi a fucking player. Bro, I'm starting to get, when I watch Oba come on out, I'm starting to get the fucking chills. Bro, this guy is going to make WWE so much fucking money. It is unreal. You can talk about your Trick Williams. He's going to be fucking great. I love Trick. I think he's great. You can talk about your Carmelos. Love Carmelo. You can talk about your Braun Breakers. And you could talk about your Javon Evans. Bro, Oba Femi is the guy. He is the guy. Out of everybody, he is the biggest star of the new breed. No doubt about it, in my opinion. Can't wait. This match is going to be a WrestleMania attraction unlike we've seen in many, many years. Finn Bálor. Pre-tape promo here for Finn. I was hoping to see him in the ring. Disappointed we did not get him live on screen tonight. Balor said Judgment Day were a family, and they ran Monday Night Raw for 4 straight years. He did things he was not proud of during this entire period. The worst decision he ever made was thinking he could make a man out of Dominik Mysterio. Balor did give Dominik credit for running the same playbook he had created against him. Dominik should remember, though, that when he turned his back on his father and felt lost, it was Balor he turned to. Balor stepped in, and he stepped up for Dominik when he didn't have a father. Dominik didn't lose the IC title because of Finn Bálor. He lost the IC title because he was a self-entitled jackass. Balor was guilty of creating that jackass. He was responsible for creating the Dominik Mysterio that you currently see right now, and he says he's got to be responsible for destroying this version of Dominik Mysterio at WrestleMania. So we got another WrestleMania match confirmed between Finn Bálor and Dominik Mysterio, and I'm alluding to, and I think you guys are probably in the same ballpark, when he says he's got to be responsible for destroying this version of Dominik Mysterio, we are absolutely getting the demon returning in Las Vegas. 100%. 100%. Now we got an IC title match here with Penta and Kofi Kingston. Michael Cole did give Carmelo Hayes a shout out for his United States Championship title reign and his great string of matches with the United States Championship Open, because he mentioned Carmelo here because Penta was having an open challenge for the IC title. I hate open challenges. I hope they go away for a very long time. WWE just resorts to open challenges. AEW resorts to open challenges because there is no creativity in open challenges. It's an easy match for them to get 15, 20 minutes done and over with on national television. You're lucky you got some great talent like Carmelo Hayes that could eat up 15, 20, 25 minutes on television. I mentioned on Friday, Sami Zayn won the United States Championship from Carmelo Hayes thanks to Trick Williams. Trick Williams, whether it was inadvertent or not, he blasted Carmelo Hayes in the face with a foreign object. Sami Zayn took advantage, won the United States Championship, found his way onto the WrestleMania card. He will be defending the title against Trick Williams, the United States title, that is, against Trick Williams at WrestleMania. I'm assuming, and I firmly believe, Carmelo Hayes will be added to that match because of the outcome that we saw on Friday. Whether he asks for it, he should automatically be put in there. Or we get a match between Carmelo and Trick on Friday, and he's added by that way. Regardless, Carmelo's getting onto the WrestleMania card because if he's not on the WrestleMania card, this would be creative malpractice for WWE. He's been one of the top performers, not only in WWE, but in pro wrestling. He's quietly put together a match of the year resume. He's quietly put together a wrestler of the year resume. He's been the best thing about Friday Night SmackDown since they went to 3 hours again. He's had the best matches on the show. No doubt about it. If you leave that kid off WrestleMania, that says more about WWE and their fucking creative than it does about anything else. You put that man on the WrestleMania card. You leave him off, my God, is that a fucking fail of epic proportions. I do believe he will make the card. I think it will be a triple threat. Trick, Carmelo, and Sammy. Speaking of open challenges, Penta. He beats Kofi Kingston in 10 minutes. This match was fine. Outcome was pretty predictable. We got a little tension between Grayson Waller and Kofi Kingston. There was a Canadian Destroyer spot on the outside, which looked not good, meaning that it looked sloppy. It wasn't much of a destroyer at all. Penta flew in and laid Waller out with a Canadian Destroyer. Kingston tried a leaping dive. Penta caught him, suplexed him onto the announce desk. Waller is telling Kingston maybe he did need him because earlier in the match, Kingston was telling Grayson Waller, get away, I don't need you. I'm doing this on my own. We go back into the ring. Penta comes off the top rope. Kingston met him in midair with a Trouble in Paradise for a near fall. Kingston set up for a superplex. Penta dropped him and spiked him with a Canadian Destroyer in the middle of the ring, which looked great. The one to Waller did not. The one to Kofi looked fantastic. 1, 2, 3, and Penta wins and retains the IC title against Kofi Kingston in an open challenge. After the match was over, Jackie Redmond interviewed Penta and asked him what his plans would be for WrestleMania. Penta said he spoke to Pierce and it's already done. The IC title would be defended in a ladder match at WrestleMania. He issued a warning to anyone in the match and warned them that it wasn't just the title hanging above the ring, it was his kingdom. Because this is where he thrives. Because he's Lucha. Now, apparently, they mentioned something about the IC title ladder match later in the show. And I'm going to talk about this here. Michael Cole spoke about the IC title ladder match taking place, which could be a sleeper match of the whole fucking weekend. Just another way for WWE to get everybody involved in the show, which is fine. I don't like it, but it's obligatory. Let's get everybody in the same match to get everybody on the show. Fine. Now, he claimed Adam Pearce set the field already because there was already qualifying matches that have been happening on Main Event, which airs on WWE's YouTube channel. It was reported by the fraudulent journalists that WWE would be conducting qualifying matches over the next 2 weeks to figure out who's going to be in this match. WWE did not give us any qualifying matches. They did not give us any qualifying matches on Main Event. They simply just picked people at random to be in this match, and that's all they did. Nobody's watching Main Event. Qualifying matches did not happen on Main Event, and WWE just chose people at random. The people that they chose were the following: Dragon Lee, Javon Evans, Rusev, and JD McDonough. And then you got Penta. So you got 5. They could add 1 to make it 6. They could add 3 more to make it 8. I don't know if anybody from SmackDown is going to be coming on over and competing in this ladder match. Dragunov's got nothing to do. What is he doing at WrestleMania? Sucks to see Dragunov not make the WrestleMania card after he's gotten back and he's had some banger fucking matches as well. I don't know what the fuck they're doing. Maybe he doesn't make the WrestleMania card. That would be fucking awful if he doesn't. Maybe they put him in there. Maybe we see an NXT call-up. Maybe we see a debut of sorts. Maybe we see Royce Keys. I don't know. It could stay 5. It could be 6. It could end up being 8. It could be 10. We don't know. We don't know. Maybe WWE, I don't know why WWE would do this. This would be ridiculous. That they chose 5, but then they're still going to give you qualifying matches for the next group of guys that maybe they want to add to this match. That wouldn't make any sense because shouldn't everybody go through a qualifying match? Maybe they just choose some other people and kind of round it out at 6. 6 is a nice. 5 is an odd number. Normally they're 6. Maybe they bump it up to 8. I could see Ray Phoenix in this. I could see Ilya Dragunov in this. I could see Johnny Gargano in this. Right? I'm going to say that I don't think WWE is done. Vikingo, they mentioned. Out of all the people they mentioned, Vikingo might be added to this. I could see that. Vikingo might be added. He could be 6. A couple of guys from SmackDown, they could round it out to 8. We'll see what happens. After the announcement of Penta and the ladder match, Adam Pearce approached Paul Heyman backstage and asked where Brock Lesnar was. Lesnar had already left the building. Of course he did. Why would he be there till the very end? Probably went out for a nice steak dinner and a couple of cocktails and then took the flight back home to Saskatchewan. Heyman assured him that Lesnar had left the arena. Pearce asked again if Heyman checked his email. Heyman again laughed at email and said he was going to go to the ring and Adam Pearce was going to listen to what he has to say. Heyman comes on out, and we got a Howard Finkel mention. The greatest ring announcer in all of pro wrestling history is Howard Finkel. If you don't think so, then I don't give a shit what you have to say. He mentioned Howard Finkel, and he announced in a very Fink-like way that the Vision were and new tag team champions. He tried to give the fans a Lesnar and Oba Femi fight tonight, but that wannabe, mid-level, suck-up, mid-management, pseudo-general manager Adam Pearce got in the way. Pearce comes on out, and once again, he asked Paul Heyman if he checked his emails. Heyman says there was nothing Pearce could tell him that he didn't already know. Pearce informed him, well, in the email, the Boston Police Department dropped all the charges against Seth Rollins. And then Heyman's nervously saying, oh, yeah, I knew that. I knew that information. That's not new information. I already knew that. Of course I knew that. Heyman went on and cut one hell of a promo here, continuing to say that he put himself over as the last remaining manager of the 1980s and the last promoter standing from the 1990s. As fans chanted EC Dub, EC Dub. Pearce again said if Heyman checked his email, he would also know that Seth Rollins has been medically cleared to compete. So at this point, Rollins' music hits and we get Burn It Down. Heyman drops the microphone in shock. He puts his arms out. He couldn't believe what he was seeing or hearing. Rollins comes up from behind Heyman with the steel chair, smashes Paul Heyman in the back with the steel chair, and then set up a curb stomp on Paul Heyman on the steel chair. It was at that point where he backed up against the ropes to set up for the curb stomp that Gunther pulled him out of the ring and violently put him in a sleeper hold and put him to sleep. Right on the announce desk. He grabbed Rollins by the head, pointed at the sign, and told him WrestleMania was their future. Like I said before, if you guys missed my rant in the beginning, the match should be a great match. Gunther is one of the best pro wrestlers in the world. Seth Rollins was doing some great work before his injury. The match is going to be worthy of WrestleMania from bell to bell. But I can't call out one company for not doing story and then not call out the other. If WWE wanted to make this about Gunther and Rollins, then maybe they should have dropped a tease or a hint or a clue over the last 3 weeks that Gunther has been off television. There was no mention of Gunther, no mention of Rollins, no sighting of Gunther in any of the segments that we've seen with The Vision, Paul Heyman, or Seth Rollins. Not one mention. The only one to mention Gunther was CM Punk in a promo that he was trying to cut on Roman Reigns 2 weeks ago. Not one single iota of a mention about Gunther and Rollins. They never crossed paths. This year I'm talking about. Haven't crossed paths. Nothing's been said about them. Nothing's been done with them. They haven't had any words with each other. Yet you want me to sit here and be like, well, this is going to be a great match and leave it at that. Bro, I would never be someone to leave it at that. I got to cater to all audiences. I just gave the audience of, well, it's going to be a great match, JD. I just told you it's going to be a great match. But also the people that are going to complain about it, because I will get people twittering me, leaving me vile well, JD didn't complain about this. He didn't complain about this not having any story. He's so far up Triple H's asshole. You know what's coming, so I got to call everybody out. If I didn't call out the lack of story here, then I wouldn't be doing my job. So you should appreciate me for being right down the middle. They have nothing to do with each other. This is merely a situation of Gunther's got nothing to do because he was supposed to wrestle Rey Mysterio. Rollins has got nothing to do because he was supposed to wrestle Braun Breaker. Both of these guys have matches that are ruined by injury. Let's put them together. Should be a great match. Nobody's going to give a shit. Fine. It's going to be a great match, but there is zero story. And if they wanted to tell any sort of story and build this up over the last 3 weeks, Gunther should have been on television. There should have been a mention of Gunther in the Vision. Paul Heyman should have been dropping teases or hints about somebody that he's doing business with. Nothing. They didn't even play up the fact of Gunther showing any remorse for Paul Heyman. He choked out Seth Rollins and he walked right by Paul Heyman. He did not even help Paul Heyman up after he was hit with a steel chair. There was no bargaining. There was no meeting. There was no remorse from Gunther to Paul Heyman. Now, again, they have 2 weeks. Paul Heyman can come out next week and say Braun Breaker was supposed to be medically cleared. Adam Pearce and WWE's corrupt medical did not clear Braun Breaker. So I had to make a business decision, and I had to make some sort of agreement with somebody because I have to rid my life of this guy, and Gunther's the best guy to do it because he's labeled himself the career killer, and I want Seth Rollins' career killed. That's all he's got to say. That's all he's got to say. We have 2 weeks to get that point across. It should have been something that should have been teased, but we didn't get that far. And WWE thought that it wasn't all that important to give us some clues or hints or maybe some drop of story. In the last 3 weeks, Gunther's been off television. That's all Paul Heyman has to say. This could be, I'll scratch your back if you scratch mine. Paul Heyman pays Gunther to take out Seth Rollins, and Gunther gets a match with Brock Lesnar at some point. That could also be a bargaining chip. Paul Heyman gets Gunther to eliminate Rollins. Gunther gets an eventual match with Brock Lesnar down the line when Brock Lesnar wants to hang it up. Again, I don't think they're going to go and do that or explain that to you, but some sort of bargaining, some sort of agreement should be in place between Heyman and Gunther. That much needs to be explained here. Otherwise, on the surface, it's just a WrestleMania match with no fucking context and no story because both guys had matches that were ruined by injury, and as a result, we're just going to put them together. A WrestleMania match with no story might be a great WrestleMania match, but it's going to be a heatless WrestleMania match. There's no investment in Gunther because Gunther's been fucking creatively failed over the last 3 months. They failed Gunther creatively. Rollins has just gotten back. So what else is there? There is nothing. And as soon as Gunther was there choking out Rollins, you could hear that fucking balloon pop in Madison Square Garden. The feeling of disappointment was fucking palpable watching this on television. I'm sorry. You don't like what I have to say, man? Tough shit. I am not the only one that feels that way. Io and Raquel. Neither one of these women got an entrance because, we don't really have enough time, even though they usually go off the air at 2 hours and 30 minutes. They didn't have enough time to give these women an entrance. So we go to commercial and we come back and both women are already in the ring. The bell rings. Raquel beats Io in 10 minutes. Io tried to wipe out Asuka with a suicide dive. Asuka and Kyrie came down for whatever reason. Asuka was yelling at Kyrie to get on the ring apron and cost Io this match. Sky decided to wipe out Asuka with a suicide dive. She slipped as she went through the ropes and landed right on her head. Io popped up. She looked all right. She said something to Kyrie before making her way back to the ring. Rodriguez grabbed her, hits a Tejana bomb, and that was enough for the victory. There's way too many matches on this show that just feel like they're there and they don't really mean anything. A lot of meaningless wrestling on this show the last 2 weeks. These matches don't mean anything. It's amazing how Io went from arguably the best WrestleMania match last year with Bianca and Rhea to having such a heatless match with Asuka, potentially. They've done nothing to really get us invested in this story. We got 2 weeks to go. Sure, Kyrie's been bullied, but Io, some weeks she didn't give a shit, some weeks she did. Now, all of a sudden, she's back to giving a shit again. The up and down, the hot and cold of Io and Asuka and Kyrie isn't really going to lend to a lot of excitement at WrestleMania. Should be a good match, but it's definitely feeling like Io got the short end of the stick this year. Yet I still have people arguing with me that Rhea and Io wasn't the biggest match they could have done. So you got two heatless matches out of it. You got Rhea and Jade, which is heatless. And then you got Io and Asuka, which should be a fine match and a match everybody's desired for a very long time. But again, heatless. You would rather see these two heatless matches than give me a 30-minute barn burner match of the year classic between Rhea and Io with a proper story. No, you'd rather see this garbage than that. Sure thing, bro. Sure thing. Sure thing. Again, this match may be a WrestleMania match for some. The way that it's been built up, it's not even good for Monday Night Raw. CM Punk. Main event segment here. Really not much to be said here. Really not much to be said at all. There wasn't much at all. Roman Reigns comes on out. His entrance alone lasted longer than this segment. So after about 6 minutes of theme music, Roman Reigns gets into the ring. Acknowledge me. CM Punk's music hits. He storms to the ring. He's got his wrists taped. He's looking for a fight. He goes straight after Roman. Dumps him out of the ring after a slugfest in the middle of the ring. Sends Roman crashing into the ring post. We got Adam Pearce and agents out there and referees out there trying to separate these two guys. So theoretically, another pull-apart brawl. Reigns shoved most of them. Looked to powerbomb Punk through the announce desk again. Punk escapes. Sets up for the GTS on Reigns. Officials then pull both Punk and Reigns apart. Reigns breaks free. He begins brawling with Punk once again. Punk eventually gets Roman on his shoulders. and delivers a GTS to Roman Reigns. Punk then picks up Roman, power bombs him through the announce desk in revenge for what Roman did to Punk last week, and then he sits cross-legged over Reigns and mocks him by screaming in his face, Roman Reigns! And he's punching Roman Reigns in the face, doing the European-style chants, yelling it in Roman's face. Punk stands on the barricade. He celebrates with the fans. He starts laughing maniacally like he did last week when he got powerbombed through the table. And that's the way the show went off the air. Another pull-apart brawl, chat. Some of you are content with a pull-apart brawl every week. I am not content with a pull-apart brawl every week. We saw one on Friday and was fucking terrible. So WWE does a little bit better of a job of a pull-apart brawl tonight, but it's still a pull-apart brawl. We saw Roman go through the table last week, or Punk rather, go through the table last week, and Roman go through the table this week. Wow. Some creativity you got there, man. The Monday Night Raw writing team is fucking lighting the script on fire, man. Oh my God. A company with so many resources and so little idea. If you find this to be entertaining or good enough for WrestleMania, I don't know what to tell you. I find it to be boring, rehash, rinse and repeat. Same shit over and over again. We got 2 weeks left to go. Roman's going to make a couple more appearances before we get to WrestleMania. What are they going to do? They reached peak excitement level the night they announced this match. It's been downhill ever since. There's been some gems in there. There's been a couple of one-liners in there. Usos got involved. But, bro, we've started peak, and we've been downhill ever since. Slowly, and we've been going downhill ever since. Cody and Randy peaked with the attack. And Randy bludgeoning Cody, sitting maniacally with the WWE Championship in the center of the ring after he put Cody on the steel steps, bleeding all over the place. Hasn't been the same since. They've involved Matt Cardona. They've involved Jelly Roll. They had that stupid fucking lame pull-apart brawl on Friday, which was fucking awful. As far as I'm concerned, the most exciting thing about WrestleMania so far, even though these two main event matches I'm sure will end up producing in the end, they are limping over the finish line. The most exciting thing to me at WrestleMania is Oba Femi and Brock Lesnar. I thought Monday Night Raw finally did what they needed to do. They got WrestleMania fleshed out. I think we got 12 matches now in total. They may stretch it to 14. Other than that, Monday night was another night of meaningless wrestling, WrestleMania match announcements, and more rinse and repeat, with Brock Lesnar and Oba Femi once again standing tall as the blowaway segment on a show. And their segment wasn't even better than the first 2 weeks, but by default, it was the best segment of the night. And Stephanie McMahon showed up and gave Cody Rhodes some tough love while telling him he needs to be diabolical because he can't touch this diabolical version of Randy Orton, which, for the most part, hasn't been anywhere close to diabolical Randy Orton. Thank you guys for joining me on this Monday night. If you guys enjoyed the content here tonight, if you enjoyed the post show here tonight, I would love if you hit that thumbs up down below. We are looking at 812 likes. Let's get that up to 1,000. That should be easy as pie. A cakewalk. 1,000 likes is the goal. We had 3,000 large in here. Thank you very much. Sean Ross Sapp could never. And super chats are open. Get them on in. We'll hang out at the end of the show. We are the #1 live stream, no matter what people say, whether you like it or not, here on YouTube. Super chats are open. Leave a comment as well. Helps us out in the algorithm tonight. We're sponsored by Blue Chew Gold. So let me get this straight. Seth Rollins is gone since Crown Jewel. Months on the shelf. Finally gets cleared. Comes back, big moment, crowd's going crazy. And then Gunther, who's been out for 3 weeks, walks in, chokes him out, and now he's got a WrestleMania match with Seth Rollins. No warm-up, no easing back in, just straight to business. That's WrestleMania season. Whether you like it or not, it's WrestleMania season. No hesitation, no second guessing. You gotta show up ready. And honestly, that's how things should be outside the ring, too. Because we've all had those moments where maybe you're ready physically, but not mentally. You're overthinking everything. Timing, distractions, the pressure. You're not fully locked in. That's where Blue Chew comes in. Blue Chew Gold is built differently. It's not just about blood flow. It's designed to help with arousal, too. So your mind and your body are actually on the same page. Because let's be real. Getting ready and being ready are two completely different things. So Blue Chew Gold combines ingredients and performance and mental connection. So you're not out there second guessing like it's your first match back in 6 months. You're confident. You're focused. You're in control. It's less time for thinking and more doing. So if you're trying to step your game up and bring that main event energy when it counts, obviously Blue Chew's where it's at. So don't let your mind get in the way of a good time. Discover all your options at BlueChew.com. Special deal for all of our listeners tonight. Right now, when you buy 2 months of Blue Chew Gold, you're going to get the third free with promo code JD. That's promo code JD. You buy 2 months of Blue Chew Gold, you get the third month free. BlueChew.com. Code JD. Visit BlueChew.com for more details, important safety information, and I want to thank them for once again sponsoring the podcast right here on Off the Script. Let's get to these super chats. Michael Krause, $4 in super chat. JDOTS, how was everyone's weekend? Let's go. Yeah. JD, why do the geeks on X defend bad AEW and WWE shows? Because people like me are real and they don't like other people's opinions of something that they love. They find those people to be negative. Meanwhile, I'm an analyst. I analyze. I'm a critic. I'm supposed to be critical. I can't do none of those things. I can't do my job. I got to be positive about everything. Tommy Brannigan with 50 months. If this is supposed to be WrestleMania season, where is all the excitement and great storytelling, JD? Because I have not seen it. Your guess is as good as mine, Tommy. Braves are 3-1, Tommy. Better than last year, huh? What did we start the season last year? 0-12? Cornell Bryant with a $4.99. Crazy that a Stephanie McMahon promo in 2026 hits harder than everything Jade has said on a mic ever. Jade sucks. The quicker you realize that, you start to cleanse yourself. Best in the world, Matt with a $5 super chat. Seth and LA Knight versus the Vision for the tag team titles at WrestleMania. If Braun does not come back, LA Knight would have a Mania match then, at least. Could have done it. Seth and LA Knight for the tag team titles, why not? They don't want to do that because then they can't get their D-list celebrity friends involved at WrestleMania, like I Show Speed.
Apparently, that's way too out there. Fans wanted Gunther and Dragunov, which would have made infinitely more sense than fucking Rollins and Gunther. But what do I know, man? What do I know? Baltimore Jackson with a $4.99. I figured after Heyman's comments to the Vision last week, they would win the tag team titles. I would be surprised if the Usos win the titles back at Mania. Now, Usos in LA Knight versus I Show Speed, Logan Paul, and Austin Theory. Also, Baltimore Jackson with the $4.99. I don't know what Stephanie Vaquer was wearing tonight, but she wore the hell out of that outfit. She's easy on the eyes. Nia Jax out here looks ridiculous. Bro, Nia Jax looked like Winnie the fucking Pooh out there, and Stephanie Vaquer looked like she was an 8-course meal. Michelle Moran with a $2 super chat. Female head writer makes things worse on Raw. Baltimore Jackson with a $4.99. The women's segment was awkward and sloppy, just embarrassing. Then left in-ring standing look at each other. I don't know what WWE was going for here. I don't know what they're going for either. But I'll tell you what they're looking at WrestleMania, a snooze fest. Come on, Triple M. He's a D-list. Come on. Bro. He's on the lower totem pole of fucking... You want A-list? Go get Tom Cruise. Or somebody of note, you know? Michelle with a $2 super chat. Did we really need Steph and Triple H on the show? I didn't mind their inclusion. They were innocent inclusions. Gonna read this one now as it came in, as I see people giving my guy a prayer emoji. JDJE9 with a $9.99. Hey, JD, my grandmother passed about 2 weeks ago. I've been grieving her death and trying my best to keep my mind off of it. Your show has definitely helped me with that and kept me entertained as always. I feel for you, brother. I lost my grandma in August last year. Legitimately just had a dream about her this past week. All I can tell you, man, is it gets easier. She will never leave you. You will always have her hanging around. I think about my grandma almost every day. And I'm glad I could bring you at least some peace. That's what I'm here for. Those comments mean more to me than any super chat could ever. You're going to be all right, brother. Let me get some prayer emojis in the chat for my guy, the other JD. Thank you, brother. Baltimore Jackson with a $4.99. WWE saving the Oba Brock brawl for the go-home show. I really want to see Oba F5 through a table. Brock looks weak right now. Enough with the stare down. Bro, Lesnar looks bigger and better than he has ever looked, man. The long hair and the goatee. Man, he looks like he's about to fucking maim and maul somebody. He always did, but he looks more vicious now than ever before. Michelle with a 2. Seth, Gunther at WrestleMania. Sign me up. Braun, Seth, Backlash. I'm assuming Braun shows up at Mania because Gunther needs to win. And the only way that we get Braun and Seth at Backlash is if Braun costs Seth the match against Gunther. It's the only way it's going to happen. No, Seth does not beat Gunther. He does not. Braun may be cleared, but Braun might not be cleared to wrestle.
Twister with a $4.99. That was the worst MSG show I ever watched. Sure, there were some moments here and there, but this was, in my opinion, the worst Raw all year. Yeah, because you expect this huge WrestleMania atmosphere, and there was not a lot of WrestleMania atmosphere. I agree with you guys. Trust me. I know. Cody Snyder with a $5 super chat. Roman Reigns. CM Punk. Yes, that was hilarious. Michelle with a 2. Roman Punk was short but sweet. Strange. No Usos. Joseph Taylor with a $5 super chat. Raw 5 out of 10. The Alter Bridge song you listen to more often, Metalingus or Find the Real? I haven't listened to that first album in months, Joseph. Who's listening to their first album when they have their most recent album out? I'm only listening to the most recent album. Slave to Master is what everybody should be listening to. It's the best Alter Bridge song since Blackbird, and maybe the best rock song all year. Mac Daddy with a $2 super chat. JD, have you listened to the new Dimmu Borgir? Yes, it's awful. It's awful. I almost fell asleep listening to it. Cody Snyder with a $5 super chat. I think you might have needed me. Kofi, says Grayson Waller. That was also fun. Triple M, I have not re-downloaded it, bro. I have not re-downloaded it. Triple M with a $5 super chat. Was hoping Ricochet's apology was genuine. Also, I know D2 is stagnant right now, but man, I miss running some dungeons and stuff. Me too, man. I'll be back on. Gonna give it a little bit more time. Shane Brown, 39 months. I think the best match would have been Dragunov and Gunther. I'm not really feeling him and Seth, but at least Gunther is on the card now, I guess. Sure. Fast Eddie with a $4.99. JD, it's a miracle. No yeeting tonight. Brock and Oba should be one of the main events at WrestleMania. It is main event in language. That's how WWE describes their biggest matches at Mania. Everything's a fucking main event. Which is stupid because there's only 2 main events, and that's night 1 and night 2. Cody, Randy, Punk, and Roman. But everything's a main event to these people. The Talon with a $2 super chat. Gunther versus Seth is lazy booking. I agree. Lauren with a 2. John Cena is the official host for WrestleMania 42. Sounds desperate if you ask me. Chair Shot Sports, thank you for the $99.99, brother. Appreciate the $100 bomb earlier. D4 with a $4.99. Did you notice Cody and Stephanie spitting on each other's faces as they spoke? Cody wiped his face and then gave her a receipt. No, I didn't notice that. Yo boy, Pete with a $4.99. JD, maybe it's my fault, but is it just me or was I kind of disappointed when Gunther attacked Seth? I was holding out hope for Braun. Me too. I was disappointed, Pete. You're not the only one. Lauren with a $2 super chat. Cody is cooked coming Friday. Randy's hometown. We need to see an RKO to Brandy or pump kick to Stephanie. One or the other. Boss Mo Jackson with a $1.99. Cena hosting Mania should be perfect. 2 thumbs up on that. Lauren with the $2 super chat. Picks for Randy's callers. Cena, Bob Orton, or Rock. Cena is not on the phone. Mid-range. $2.99. Gunther next week was bored sitting at catering. Michael Krause with the $2 super chat. Story is king, JD. 100% facts. Lauren with a 2. Did Stephanie turn heel tonight on Cody? No. No, she was just administering some tough love. Street Fighter with a $5 super chat. Where was the security for Liv and Stephanie? Apparently, WWE does not care about preserving that main event. Baltimore Jacks with a $4.99. Feel like Roman Punk feud started too early. I also feel that way about the other feuds too. Pull apart brawls seem something like they rely on. Story is lame. Also, Gunther being home doing nothing for weeks. WWE plenty of time to integrate him with Rollins. Choking him out on one night is not enough for a Mania match. Thumbs down on this. Delwyn with a $20 super chat. That Raw was awesome. Oba Femi giving off serious Brock vibes, making everyone hold their breath. WrestleMania just got way better. That was electric and felt like pro wrestling. Larger than life. Hype for this match. You said nothing wrong there, Delwyn. It's the one match I'm looking forward to most out of everything. Fans are most invested in that. Cam G with a 10. Penta had MSG absolutely rocking, and I think he will kill it in the ladder match at Mania. Hope all is well, JD. OTS for life. Thank you, my brother. I'm assuming you were there. Penta is great. NM with a 2. Sean Sapp back to eating corn the long way. I love how you spelled his name S-H-A-W-N. Hollywood guy with a $5 super chat. Was it me or does Oba look like a giant compared to Brock? Brock looks smaller than Oba. Bro, Brock could split a human being in half at the snap of a finger. It doesn't matter what size they are. Daltine Cracker with a 5. I get your thing with the Seth and Gunther match. I'm just willing to give them some leeway because of the injuries. But yes, it doesn't make sense. Bro, injuries happen. But that does not excuse you from telling stories. If you're going to have a plan B, or in this case, plan C, you're going to have to explain why this is happening. I'm not sitting here going on with, oh, it's going to be a great match. Let's excuse their lack of story. No. There's got to be a why to everything. The more you tell them, oh, it doesn't matter because it's going to be a great match, the more they're going to do shit like that. That shit don't fly with me. Chicago 4 MBK with a new membership. Thank you, brother. Missing Flatbread with a $9.99. I would have Oba Brock open night 2 and have Oba enter first. Thoughts? Does entrance order matter for this match? Keep up the great work. Brock comes out first. Oba comes out second. Sidro. $5 super chat. Found out my grandfather is addicted to Viagra. No one is taking it harder than grandma. Maybe he should switch over to Blue Chew. And when picking up your new Honda, make sure you dress accordingly. Sidra also with a $2 super chat. JD hates the Bellas because he can look, but he can't touch. Lauren with a bunch of $2 super chats. What do you think Cena will do as guest host? Announce the attendance figures and add at least 8,000 to the overall number. Cody and Punk don't compete on weekly shows. Why? Why do they need to? Are you more invested in Cody Randy or Punk Roman at the moment? Punk and Roman. 09 Randy will always be the best version. I agree. Randy isn't getting booed in any capacity. No, he's not. Not at Mania. Fate Chimera with a $19.99. Hey, JD, let me borrow 20 so I can buy my Chihuahua a 10-ounce steak. Well, if he didn't give me a 20 in Super Chat, he'd have the 20 that he's asking me to give him. Does somebody have a 20 they could give Fate, please? We can't let his dog starve. We love the fur babies here. Exotic Gaming Glitches with a $4.99. The power that you hold over that pathetic AEW locker room is hilarious. Of course, Ricochet throws slurs at you to defend that coke addict, Sean Ross Sapp. How cute. Bro, you can go deny the clip all you want of Sapp kind of going off screen and sniffing something. Bro, my dad's a coke addict. The rubbing of the teeth. Bro, I lived with that for many, many, many years, man. I could pick out a coke addict faster than anybody. You can lie all you want, bro. I lived through all of that through my high school years, man. You ain't getting that one over on me. Fuck out of here. And Ricochet is a prick. Ricochet has tarnished his own legacy. He's a loser. He will never amount to anything in AEW. He's a bottom of the barrel, fucking not even mid-carder. They created a championship just to pretend like he's important, to make him feel special. And I have within good reason to report that a lot of his peers also think he's a fucking asshole. And his comments that he made were deplorable. But Tony Khan deems it all right, so that's all that matters. All that matters. Donnie Diablo with the $4.99. Did you notice they added the chant at the very beginning of Oba's theme song? I did. There's no reason to force that. Let the fans do it on their own. Joe Owens with a $1.99. No message. Thank you, Joe. Rage. 64 months. 64 months is crazy. JD, hope all is well. Charlotte needs a bigger push. Listen, I've actually grown to like Charlotte a little bit more than the last time you mentioned Charlotte. Charlotte's not in my line of sight anymore. It's Jade. Caden with a $1.99. Happy Roxy is back. She looked great. She always looks great. There's never a day Roxy doesn't look great. JB Comrade with 26 months. JD Sapp is an actual weirdo and sounds unhinged. Almost like he needs mental counseling. Bro, Sapp was absolutely bullied as a young child. The narcissistic complex and superiority complex of Sean Ross Sapp is unmatched. He can never accept that he's wrong. I have friends of Sapp's that I know very well who also tell me that Sapp is bought and paid for. So, I mean, if Sapp's peers are telling me that he's also bought and paid for and that he panders a little bit too much to AEW, then what am I to believe? What am I to believe? And like clockwork, Ricochet comes to his defense with the fucking white flags. It's all right, man. Poor Ricochet. Told an elderly woman with MS, I'm glad you got MS, man. Sit this one out, Baldy. Sit this one out. Joe Owens with a $4.99. I lost my mom on February 19th. Worst day of my life. But you have helped for a couple of hours. So it's not so tough. I'm sorry to hear that, brother. I'm very sorry to hear that. Let me get some prayer emojis in the chat for my guy, Joe Owens. Chris with a $1.99. JD, have you ever listened to the band Nothing Face? I have. They were a high school band. Haven't listened to them since.
I'm assuming they are no longer together. Sidro with a $2 super chat. Mania will have 69,422 people each night. Just about. Savion with a 42 months. Fuck Ricochet. And Joseph Taylor with a $5 super chat. Now I know why SRS and Minnie are friends, to quote OT Genesis the rapper. I have no idea who that is, by the way. Both SRS and Minnie are in love with the Coco. Well, I don't know if Minnie is, but she's got various other problems. Sap is the one with the Coco problem. Guys, thank you for a great stream. What are we looking at as far as likes? 914 likes. Starting to get the bugs already. Believe this shit? Starting to get the bugs already. 70 degrees. 170-degree day. We're getting the bugs already. 915 likes. We need 85 likes. You mean to tell me there's not 85 fucking people in here that are gonna give me 85 likes? Come on, man. Really? Stream for 2.5 hours. Gave you the best fucking stream in the entire space tonight. What the fuck you want me to do? Anyway, I'm getting out of here. Got some things to wrap up. Get ready for tomorrow. Coach and JD sit down for the 2 count. Live on Coach's channel, 11:30, and then the main event, as always. Solid Monster Night for Tuesday Night Titans. Make sure you guys join us 8:30 p.m. right here on this channel. Thank you guys very much for all your support. Follow me on social media at JDFromNY206, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and Cameo. Hit the subscribe button down below. Turn on the bell for notifications. Go check out all the great content on the channel. If you guys have not subscribed to the second channel where we upload shorter clips, link is down below in the description. Please go and do that. And like I said, Coach and JD tomorrow on the 2 count. Turn, or behind the turnbuckle, 11:30 Eastern on his YouTube channel. And then tomorrow night with the Solid Monster right here on this channel for Tuesday Night Titans. Until then, guys, have a great night. And I will see you right back here for Tuesday, Action-Packed Tuesday. I'll see you guys later.